Welcome to this first online conference of the INTEI. I want to begin by thanking Kappa Delta Pi, the International Honor Society in Education that has been fostering excellence and quality in education since, I believe, 1911. It was through Kappa Delta Pi that we are able to bring about the technical aspects of this. I also want to thank ESD Innovate. This is a group of our INTEI members who have created this possibility of holding our usual biennial meeting online. This small group got together and decided this was a way of enhancing our presence. And I want to especially thank you for joining, taking the time to be with us, and I hope you will really find it fruitful. I'm sorry that I cannot be with you online as I'm speaking at the annual meeting of the International Association of Universities. We're meeting in Kuala Lumpur, and we're here trying to ensure the continued embedding of ESD in all aspects of university and in general higher education curriculum and practices. This has been a priority for a number of years now, and I am happy to say that the INTEI and my chair has been present in this. I'm also happy to say that we're approaching our 20th anniversary as a chair. It was in 1996 that the United Nations Commission on Sustainable Development identified teacher education as a core element in trying to embed sustainability around the world. They recognized that it was impossible to work with the 60 million teachers directly, but perhaps we could learn how to reorient education and to address sustainability working with faculties of education. In 1998, we began discussions in forming this chair, which would be the first one in education for sustainable development, and in 1999, it became a reality. Now, I must say, much has changed in those 20 years. Much has changed in ESD, and I'm happy to say also that we are exploring ways of changing the reaction of the chair to that. Let me first of all talk a little bit about the changes in ESD. Education for sustainable development, including public awareness and understanding, and including training programs and so on, has grown steadily in importance, especially at the international level. Education for sustainable development is now identified, pointed out within the new Sustainable Development Goals. And it's also identified as crucial in the Global Education 2030 agenda. This is the agenda of the ministers of education from around the world as their plan of implementing Sustainable Development Goal 4. ESD is identified, as I say, in there specifically, we see it in SDG 4.7, but it is also there in 4C. 4C talks about the supply of qualified teachers and especially global collaboration amongst teacher education institutions. So we're there. But within SDG 4, all the aspects that we identify and have identified right from the very beginning, including ESD being access and retention in quality education, as well as the reorienting of the focus of education from a goal of development to a goal of sustainable development. We see that as education for sustainable development, and hence in our eyes, and more so in the eyes of many, many people around the world, see all of SDG 4 as education for sustainable development. Now, beyond SDG 4, we're Education for Sustainable Development was announced within the UN General Assembly last year as a crucial means of the implementation of all of the SDGs. And so hence this importance is there. We have a global action program through UNESCO. And we in the INTEI are members. We're one of the 20 global key partners in ESD that is focusing on enhancing teaching and training programs. As part of the SDGs and Education 2030, a new gap, we'll probably call it GAP 2030, or Global Action Program 2030, is developing through collaboration, and there's online cooperation about that, and it will be approved probably in next year, in 2019, at UNESCO, and then reported to the UN General Assembly in either 2019 or 2020. Now, as a result of this heightened awareness of ESD, UNESCO has approved the expansion of our UNESCO chair at York to address the reorientation of all aspects of education and explore how ESD can be an important element of quality education. So hence, the scope of the chair's work is expanding. It includes a global research program now spanning 40 countries, looking into how ESD could improve the education and training and hence the lives of Indigenous youth. The chair is assisting UNIVOC, the United Nations Vocational and Education Program, in embedding ESD and reorienting technical and vocational schools to bring sustainability, hopefully, into small to medium-sized enterprise. The chair, we're also working with the UNFCCC, the climate change, or UN climate change as it is now being called, and looking at climate change education, which we have experience in now since 2010. And we're also in an emerging area of education for sustainable development, being a part of an emerging field looking into human migration and how countries can adapt to that. ESD is, I must say, is engaging not only teacher education institutions, but is engaging higher education in general. Global networks have emerged, many of them with sustainability-oriented certification, rating systems, and so on. We have STARS from the Association for the Advancement of Sustainability in Higher Education. We have another one called ASHE, Auditing Instrument for Sustainability in Higher Education. There is HESI, the Higher Education Sustainable Initiative, and GUPUS, which is the Global Universities Partnership on Environment and Sustainability. Now, these provide a range of tools and options in assessing and improving their sustainability performance and bring together organizations which have created sustainability assessment tools. In fact, the Times, London, are developing a university ranking system. They're developing the criteria as to how higher education is addressing sustainability. So it's moving not only throughout teacher education institutions, but throughout all of higher ed. UNESCO itself is exploring the development of a kind of barometer, they call it, on sustainability practices throughout higher education. I must say, though, while the chair is being involved in a number of aspects, reorienting education systems through our work with faculties of education remains a core focus of the chair. And as such, we'll be evolving and building on our 20 years of experience. Yes, we are planning changes, but I'm happy to say that we'll be consulting with you, our members, over the next year to roughly achieve four things. The first to ensure our relevancy, right, to you as INTEI members. The second is to enhance the delivery of our service and to be more available, and hence this kind of online presence is one aspect of it. We want to promote the regional meetings of our institutional partners, such as the Asia Pacific Institute on ESD, which just met in Beijing. We want to promote the Baltic to Black Sea Circle Consortium that just met in Turkey. And the Learning Teacher Network is another one of our member organizations whose next meeting in early 2019 will be in Dubrovnik. And lastly, we want to be a continued voice wherever ESD is being shaped, especially regarding aspects of teaching and learning. For instance, we will be present in Paris in a few weeks when UNESCO explores the sustainability and higher education barometer that I mentioned. Part of our change is focusing on service to our network members, and establishing a more online presence is a goal. The chair team now has a web page, we have Facebook, Twitter, and our followers are growing in numbers. And I urge you to share your thoughts and input and join us online. In addition to this, we are developing an INTEI online presence as well. And our members, including Rosalind as the secretariat, this handful of groups that form the ESD Innovate team, are spearheading this online presence. And so it's my hope that while holding a face-to-face meeting, perhaps in Okayama next year, but this online exploration of professional growth and collaboration is indeed a milestone. This is our first attempt at an online conference, and again, I thank Kappa Delta Pi, who are an institutional collaborator with the INTEI, and the ESD Innovate team, who have made this a reality. I truly thank you, and I thank you for joining us. I hope you find these next days reconnecting and learning with our INTEI colleagues, and find this innovative approach useful in your daily ESD practice. Again, my thanks. Enjoy these next 2 days.